this last 2 weeks, I have been going through it. Tons of stored grief, suppressed emotions, stuff that's been buried down within me for decades, perhaps even generationally, has been coming up. And I know I'm not alone in this. Every single person I'm close to and all of my clients are feeling this, and it's just showing up in symptoms in a magnitude of ways. My guess is you're likely feeling exhausted, brain fog, a general just heaviness that you can't seem to get out from under. Where if you're like me and are diagnosed with depression, complex PTSD, anxiety, or some other mental health issue, you might even be thinking you're going through a depressive episode. And I want you to know this. Number one, you're not alone. This is happening in the collective. And when I notice that this is happening, where it's collectively people from all different backgrounds, whether someone has trauma, doesn't have trauma, different ages, different situations in life, but everyone is experiencing something similar. Well, that's when we look at the cosmic. That's when we look at the energetic shifts going on in the world. And if you've not heard of it, this is going to be very validating for you. We're currently in the Lionsgate portal, and this is an annual cosmic aligning occurrence that happens during Leo season, where the Earth aligns with the Leo constellation. And without getting all geeky with you on this, because I'm not someone who's a master at astrology, but what it does is it creates a potent energy gateway associated with manifesting spiritual healing and transformation. So it goes through August 12th. The big key day that you may have heard of is 8/8. So August 8th, that is coming up this week. And this has gone on for centuries, okay? That has been talked about in Jerusalem. You can find this in literature from all over the world. And you're going, well, gosh, there's potent manifestation period. I would like to feel abundant and hopeful and light and energized. What happens before your boldest and biggest transformation is you end up getting pulled down into the depths of your gunk so that it can shift, so that maybe it pushes you to get into the zero fucks given zone. Zero fucks given, so that you can feel maybe tired or even sick or flu like, which is how I've been feeling, so that you rest more, so you can have more time in stillness, more time with yourself, more time to process, more time to heal. So, if that didn't give you a very much needed dose of, oh my God, I'm not losing my mind, the world is not ending, now I know what's wrong with me, there you have it. If you're tired of hearing the same old basic mindset and motivational fluff talk, you've come to the right show. Welcome to Project Me with Tiffany Carter, the podcast, where we dish on everything from managing that crazy brain of yours to manifesting abundance to my straightforward, actionable steps that will make you major money online. Now, I'm not your typical multimillionaire entrepreneur. It takes a small village to keep my anxiety and depression in check. I'm inherently disorganized with an intense obsession with office supplies. Your girl here is a digital marketing content expert who's generated over $200 million in sales. I promise by tuning in twice a week, you will get a much needed refreshing dose of truth, clarity, and cash making advice. Now let's get to it. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help you grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your abundance, your relationships, and everything in between. I may come across in this episode extra, I guess, unfiltered. And I always think it's funny when I say that because we know I'm already unfiltered and direct, but I'm kind of raw right now. All right. Like I am mentally unwell, going through it. And I have zero ability to finesse my words. And I wanted to not record this episode and have no episodes this week. And I could have justified that, right? Just like you could justify not posting, not sending out the email, not making those calls, not doing that thing. Like I could easily say, hey, I always show up. And, we're on episode 600 something. There's plenty of episodes for people to listen to. I am feeling a deep heaviness and I'm processing a lot of heavy stuff. So, why show up? Because I'm showing up for you. I am not hurting myself by showing up and serving. I think what ends up happening is that we feel like we shouldn't post the video, record the thing, share the stuff, go live when we're in a downgraded, energetic state. Even call a friend, right? Or even pick up the phone if someone's calling, or even text back. Because my guess is you're probably a lot like me where you don't want to be the wet blanket. You don't want to bother someone. You want people to get the best of you, not this other side of you. And what that ends up doing is you won't show up consistently because it's impossible to always be in that, so to speak, abundant vibration of yourself, right? Like you're always abundant. You can be abundant and be horizontal on the couch for 8 hours straight, like I was yesterday, right? When I'm in this state where I am processing deep stored trauma and grief and it's coming up, if I try to block it out, if I try to avoid it, if I resist it, I can get very exhausted and then we prolong it. And I know I've prolonged some of it this time, which is why it's gone on 2 weeks because I've been in resistance. I don't have time for this. I don't want to rest. Da, 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 da. What we resist persists. It's coming up for a reason. And I can feel almost like weak giving in to this kind of stuff. But I'm showing up regardless. My brain does not fire on all cylinders when I'm in this space. So you're going to hear me maybe kind of flip flop around in topics. I might lose my train of thought, but I think it's important for you to see someone who has massive success, who's built an incredible dream life, who helps millions of people doing what I love. I think it is really critical for you to see that you can be messy, that you can be unpolished, that you can be all over the place, and it still brings value and it's important because now I'm giving you permission and you evidence that you can show up this way. If I had seen and heard other podcasters, coaches, influencers showing up during the mess, not with them saying they were a mess and now they're out of it. That's what most people do. And I'm not throwing shade at that. It's very vulnerable to show up in the current state that I'm in. Like I want to literally press stop on this recording very badly right now. And if I lean into it even a little bit, I will. So I'm doing my best to not do that. And if I heard more people showing up this way in real time, I'd go, oh, okay. So maybe I could do this thing. I could see how I could be successful because part of what made me wait 10 fucking years to start to do the thing is I knew how unwell I was. And I'm saying that like as I'm laughing, but I got a lot going on in this brain of mine. And sometimes you just don't know what you're going to get every day with me. And I am not an even keeled person in that sense. What's even about me is that I'm like pretty chill, as like a Virgo earth sign who's done a lot of work on herself. But some days I have no energy. Some days I have a ton. Sometimes I'm up all night with night terrors. Sometimes I sleep amazing. We have no idea. And all I was seeing on there, and I see most of it is what I see now. People are this like robotic, polished version of themselves. And I never see them show up in the shits. And I've coached some of these people. And I can tell you right now, some of these people that you know, they are in the shits right fucking now, but they won't show up and show you that. They'll use pre-recorded videos that they've done when they were in a better state. They will take a hiatus from a podcast. They will postpone a launch. And I'm not saying that some of that isn't very self-honoring and smart to do for your healing, for your mental health, etc. But to not show up so that your people can see that you're a human being that has a full variety of moods and emotions and stuff that they go through on some level, how are they going to develop a deep level of trust and intimacy and closeness with you when you've likely, never met these people? And this leads into talking about like the secret to skyrocketing your sales to consistent six-figure months and beyond. And this is not expected advice, which I would like to think is also why you love the show, is I tell you what's up and it's not basic because I refuse to waste your time. And what's also not basic is you have two moves that you can make right now that will set you up to be able to stack the odds heavily in your favor to cash in on the most profitable time of year online, which is coming up faster than you even know it. And it's September 15th to January 15th. This is where hundreds of billions of dollars are spent online in just one day. Black Friday alone, just one 24-hour period online in the US alone, tens of billions of dollars are spent. Worldwide, it's hundreds. That's just one day. All you need is a micro fraction of this for you to make a crap ton of money. And the e-learning market, the course market, the product market, the digital space, service space, this is all in there. This is prime hot season when people want to make moves. And if you want your fourth quarter to make more money than you have all throughout the rest of this year and bring in some serious coin, two options. I'm going to tell you the first optimal option. I'm making a move. I'm not fucking around anymore, Tiffany. Enough's enough already. I'm going for it. I'm betting on myself. That's coming to my ProjectME mastermind experience in person. 2 full days with me and my ProjectME dream team, where we are teaching you income generating skills and how to apply them to your business, how to package, how to price, how to create offers and share offers and sell your offers so you can make a ton of money online, how to grow your audience in a way that feels genuine and authentic to you. Okay, not what everyone else is doing, but what feels good to you, and how to create profitable content. So all your little pieces of content, all those dozens of pieces, those should all be little salespeople for you, all selling through the night, kind of like the old school late night infomercials. You should have all these going all night long. So you're waking up to sales and inquiries for people wanting to work for you and wanting to buy from you. Okay. And that is being done here in Manhattan Beach, California. It is, once you get off the airplane, you can Uber and then you can walk everywhere once you're here. This is the most abundant, gorgeous beach. I've rented a multi-million dollar oceanfront home because you guys deserve the best. And would I make a lot more money off this if I didn't rent a house like that? Yes. But I want you to experience and soak and sit in the abundance, because what happens is so magical as a result. And you can go register right now. We will be ending very soon the pre-launch sale, and then we end up launching this full to the public with ads and the whole thing. So it's already 50% sold out. So I don't want you to miss out. It only happens once a year. You can go to projectmewithtiffany.com/mastermind. It's in the link in bio on my Instagram and TikTok at Project Me with Tiffany, in the show notes here in the description on YouTube. The testimonials are on there. I'm sharing a ton of them also over on Instagram. And that's your big, bold move. The other move you can take, which is still a great move, it's just not as bold. So the odds are not going to be as stacked in your favor as taking the bigger move, is by taking advantage of my summer sale inside my ProjectME Posse business coaching membership, where you get weekly live trainings from me and special guest experts. All of the details are in the sign up page, projectmewithtiffany.com/Project Me Posse. You do the annual option, you get 2 months for free, plus you get my Nail Your Niche Masterclass and my Instagram bio optimizer for free, and my content creation made easy course bundle for free. So you get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars of free gifts, plus 2 months for free for this summer special. And most people really, if you are going, Tiff, where do I need to start? What do I need to do? I need to rip off the Band-Aid. It's go time. I've been fucking around. I need a boost. We need this ignited. We need to get this moving. I want the money flowing. I want the clients flowing. I don't want to wait until 2025 and do that to myself again. You do both. Period. End of story. So how all of this that I'm talking about with being in the shits, how does that tie into skyrocketing your sales? What you're likely thinking you have to do is show up as Princess Pollyanna, perfect, polished. I have my shit together. Everything I touch turns to gold. I am always have inner peace, serenity. I'm always feeling abundant. I never feel bloated. What I'm just trying to cover all the different niches and industries you can be in, right? Like, you have to have this posturing. You're a realtor that, like, oh, I just have like so many clients right now and I have so much going on. And in order for you to have people trust you and want to buy from you, and therefore you feel like a fucking fraud. It makes someone who is not a narcissist, a sociopath, or a liar really uncomfortable being able to boldly show up and share their offers and their services and their products when they're not doing well themselves, or when you're saying shit to yourself. I'm supposed to be like life coaching people, and I just had like a breakdown for an entire week. Oh, I'm supposed to be helping people grow their social media, and my social media has been stuck at the same spot for a month now. Like, who am I to be doing this? And your energy steps onto the screen, steps onto the stage, steps into the room, enters the airwaves before you do. And people can feel it. They might not necessarily be a hardcore empath intuitive like me and can pick up on it immediately, but they're just not going to be magnetized to you. They're just not going to lean into you. And you only have 3 seconds to have someone either lean in or lean out. And if your energy is not matching your words and your actions, we're going to have a problem. You know, you've heard many different forms of the quote, like, right, when someone's actions and words don't match, there's no integrity, right? Like, run for the hills. But how about your energy matching your words? So if I came on here, and this is why I knew I had to come on, because I looked to see what episode I needed to record. And I went, ugh, I have to now come on or I'd be full of shit. And that doesn't feel good to me. And that's not fair to you. And that's me going against my promise to you guys. And the whole thing, what do I always say? You have to show up regardless for what you want in life, whether it's your inner healing, whether it's the body you want, the relationship you want, the money you want, the freedom you want. You got to show up regardless. It can't just be, I'm going to show up sometimes. I'm going to show up when I feel like it. I'm going to only show up when I feel my best. Doesn't work like that. Can you imagine going into an investor meeting and you're wanting an investment, whether it's a bank or you're going with like venture capital, and part of your business and marketing plan is that you're only going to show up on the days that you feel like it? Can you imagine going into a job interview and saying that, or saying that to your boss? My plan for success here as your employee is I'm only going to show up on the days I feel like it. It just doesn't work like that. And when I spell it out to you that way, it hits. And some of you are feeling very called out. And maybe you needed to be called out. I need to be called out sometimes too. And it's being done with love. And when we show up in our states in raw authenticity, and it can feel like it's the opposite, right? You're not putting on the show, the razzle dazzle, and you do the opposite of what most people are doing online or most people do in your industry. Think about it this way. Let's use real estate as an example. You're a realtor, and right now you're in the shits. You might have some listings, no one's buying. It feels very dead because we've got like the pending election here in the United States, and there's people who are waiting, and I don't know, you could come up with all sorts of shit. Obviously, houses are bought and sold every day, so it's transactions are still happening. But you've kind of bought into that, and it's stale for you, and you don't know why, you don't know what to do. Well, number one, I would say you continually going, I don't know why, I don't know what to do. I guess this is just how it is right now, and not taking any bold action and sitting with yourself, you're not going to move out of that. There's about a million things you can do. There's a ton of shit that you can do to attract new ideal clients. How about if you went down the path with your messaging of came out and said what every freaking person in real estate is probably thinking right now, of how uncomfortable it is when things are slower? How about being honest about it? How about that? Because you're thinking, oh, well, who would then hire me as their agent for a listing if I'm saying I'm not like in this high demand in listings? I would. Because you're, as long as you're confident and you have conviction about what you're doing, and you're saying, yeah, it's not super comfortable right now. Right now, currently, a lot of things are sitting there. But on the other hand, there are, and go look up the stats, there's millions of people like moving and needing to sell their houses. People pass away, they need to sell their houses for inheritance, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, things are a little wonky right now, and it's easy to get caught up in it. Like, why not be honest about it? Because your ideal client appreciates that honesty, because so many realtors are full of shit, and they'll tell you they can sell your house more than it's worth. And so you'll sign up with them. They will inflate this marketing math, making it look like they've had tens of millions of dollars in transactions in the year, but it's really just like some playful marketing math. I've never hired a realtor based on I'm number one and da da da. I am number three, blah, blah, blah. I think that's more of a thing that realtors do with one another. I don't give a shit. You know what someone gives a shit about? That you're going to work hard for me, that you are a high integrity person, and you're going to help me and go the extra mile to help me find my house that I'm looking for, or that you're going to go the extra mile to make sure that I get my house sold at the best price possible in this current market. And how does someone get that feeling? That feeling doesn't happen by you plastering up awards, which, by the way, a lot of those are paid for. A lot of this shit's all paid for. It's all bullshit. Like the top doctors thing in the magazines, all paid for. That's not free press. That's paid advertising. Okay. And I'm not saying there's not a place in that in the marketing world, but no one cares. I've used the example of my surgeon who did my explant surgery. This is not someone, he doesn't have any of that shit on his walls. I was interested in his education, how many hours of surgery, but most importantly, that he believed in breast implant illness. He studied it. It's not just to make money. He believes it's really a thing. His bedside manner, his compassion, his attention to detail. I didn't want him to be some flashy Beverly Hills plastic surgeon. I wanted a nerdy, super freaking smart doctor that was aesthetically obsessed, and also wanted to make sure he got every scraping that was necessary to remove my implants and any of the scar tissue around it. My realtor that I've used, this is not someone who is in all the magazines and does all the things. But you know what this motherfucker did when I didn't have any? Oh, I might even cry. This motherfucker helped my ass move. And if I called him right now, even though he has not bought or sold a property for me in years, if I called him and I said, Jason, I need some help. You know, I'm looking for a place. I need some help moving. This is overwhelming to me. You know, I like am terrible at packing. I know I can hire people, but like I need some extra support. He would literally be there and it would be genuine and he would want to. That is worth more to me than any slickster out there, than anyone who's doing some fancy photo shoot for their stuff. But the problem is most people think the opposite. Let's look at another example. And this, I want to give enough to where you can start applying it to your business. This is really the secret. The catch is that showing up in this way, where you are showing different layers of your truth and your personality and the realities of your industry, the sexy side, the unsexy side, the boring side, the serious side, the silly side. Seeing all those sides of someone makes you trust them more because you feel like you really know them because there's depth. It's not just a flat surface. You're not just seeing newscaster Tiff, right? That's why all those videos I paid all that money for that I still leave up in my YouTube channel on ProjectME TV. Now ProjectME TV is all my podcasting stuff, which is highly entertaining to watch the videos, I've learned. And I can see why. I mean, you definitely, it lands in a different way when you see me also talking to you. So I highly recommend looking at those sometime, especially my my in-person guest interviews are interesting too. And because I know that you need a massive injection of abundance right now, I am gifting you my summer abundance walks. This is my guided meditation series that's designed for you to use while you're walking, but you can also lay down and listen to it and do light stretches. I do want you to have some movement going on. And you listen to this, even if you just do 3 minutes a day, you will without a doubt see the shift in yourself energetically, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And it helps get you back into the abundance zone. And I want you to make a point of doing that. There's no reason you can't multitask and listen to these things. So go to projectmewithtiffany.com/summer abundance. This is also inside of my show notes in the description here on Project Me TV on YouTube and in my link in bio on Instagram and TikTok at Project Me with Tiffany. The bottom line secret to skyrocketing your sales in any industry is you zagging while everyone else is zigging. Everyone else in your industry shows workout videos. Everyone in your industry shows constant before and afters. Everyone in their industry is bragging that I made $5 million in my first year in business. And I just did this one thing. And now I'm go viral daily. And they're using all aspirational, all fantasy marketing all the time. Then go, well, no one is actually sharing the other sides to the fitness world, the other side of what it looks like when you're going through your healing journey, when you're losing weight, when you're growing a business, when you are doing this, that, or the other. But it requires you to be more vulnerable. And it's going to seem counterintuitive to what you feel you need to do in order for people to trust you. And where I was going before, and I lost my train of thought a little bit there, is why none of those videos that I created as newscaster Tiff made me one fucking dime and got me one lead is because I was being a persona of me, right? And we all have personas of us. It doesn't mean you're being fake. I have newscaster Tiff, there's corporate Tiff. I have now created a new one, which is called Weight Watchers Tiffany. Which is for a whole nother episode altogether. I have Cunty with a K Tiff. We have all these different personas. But if you're just only showing up as that one persona, right? Maybe you have like your mom persona, you have your work persona, you have your I'm the good Christian persona, but you're only really showing up as one or two of those things regularly. That's not truly all of you. That's only just one small portion of you. So how much could someone really feel trust and lean in and feel a bond with you digitally through a screen or even in real life when they're only seeing a portion of you? You have to show people all the sides. This doesn't mean you have to spill all the tea on your life and not be discerning about what you share, but where's the real you? And we've overheard the term like the authenticity. I get a rash now when these terms get overused. Now I don't want to use them. It's as simple as what is attractive to people and why people buy. People buy because of emotion. They buy because they fucking want to, and they buy because they feel like you're the person that they want to buy from, whether it's jewelry, whether it's coaching, whether it's hiring you as a realtor. They like your vibe. They feel they can trust you. They feel like you understand them. Plus, they also know you know what you're doing. But the you know what you're doing is what most of us think we have to lead with. Educational content. I'm using all this vernacular. I'm showing you all of my accolades. Like, see, I know what I'm doing. And I'm not saying you don't have to have some of that so that people understand, like, oh, like Tiff shows the receipts. Like, she has proof. She knows what's up. Like, all the testimonials from my mastermind, right? Like, there's literally at this point, I would say we have probably 70 plus testimonials, and no one is forced to do them. It's not set up that way. And you'll see when you're at the mastermind, like we only want people speaking from the heart that really want to have something to say about their experience there. So that stuff is important, but that also isn't why people buy. Ultimately, when you think about it, why you're listening to this episode, why maybe you're in my posse membership, why you are highly at this point considering talking yourself into going to the mastermind and talking yourself out of fear and all of your resistances from doing something new, something bolder, something bigger, something scary, is because of your connection with me. But you have that connection with me as a total stranger that we've likely never fucking met in person before, because you can feel my energy, you can feel my heart. You know when someone is legit, you know when it's sincere, you feel it. But I have to allow you to feel it. And the only way I can allow you to feel it and see my heart is I've got to take off all those fucking masks that we've been taught to wear in life. And that we've also put on subconsciously and consciously to protect ourselves, right? Like there's a lot of wacky stuff out in the world, and we've done things to protect ourselves. I've done enough work on myself where, ZFG, it's some of the stuff people say can kind of sting temporarily, but ultimately, right, for the greater good, I know that me showing up as truly me in any given state is more than enough. In fact, it's exactly what you need. My guess is you needed this episode today. Take a screenshot and share this in your Instagram, Facebook stories. Tag me at ProjectME with Tiffany. You can reply to any of the emails that I send out. I read as many as I possibly can. You can also DM me on Instagram or TikTok with any comments, any episode titles or recommendations that you want to have. But share this show, because I know you needed to hear this and you're like, God, I did need to hear this today. Like, how fucking refreshing. Don't you want someone to think that about you? Don't you want someone to land on your podcast or a piece of your content or an email, or even come across you, at like an event or something and go, oh my God, how fucking refreshing. Where have you been all my life? I wish I found you sooner. Don't you want someone to think that about, like, when they take your course or read a book? That's the best compliment that I get from people is, you make me feel so understood, like you really get me, you're speaking to me, and I know you don't know me, but I feel like you know me. I do know you, 'cause I'm a version of you. I'm just in a different spot in the journey and maybe with some more tools and a few more million in the bank. That's the only difference, because like attracts like. And you've just gotten off pace from that. Whatever you're going through right now, I guarantee you your ideal client is. And I'm going to end with a couple tangible examples to really seal this in, because this is the secret to skyrocketing your sales. This is what we are going to show you exactly how to implement, not more information, but how to implement, and you're going to execute it in real time at my mastermind event. That's why people consistently say, I've gotten more done in my business in 2 days than I have all year, because you have the support, you have the clarity, you have the direction, and then it all clicks. All the content of mine you've listened, the trainings in the posse, the podcast episodes, then it gets customized and refined for your unique personality, your audience, your specialty. And when that clicks, man, that's when the cha-ching really happens. And that's what we're setting you up for here. So here's some examples. Let's say that you are in the healing space, any kind of healing, yoga instructor, Reiki, you do trauma healing, breath work, whatever it may be. And you're just showing up all light and airy and, inner peace and all of this stuff. Well, wow, wouldn't it be interesting if you also showed up in addition to and showed the days that you were struggling and the days that you got stuck in a spin cycle in your head, and then the things that you did to help support yourself during that time, during those days, what you did to help yourself work through that challenging thing. Wouldn't that be fucking refreshing? How about if you're someone who teaches weight loss? How about showing that this is not just some beautiful upward straight line journey? And you also shared about your setbacks. And maybe you're past some of these big setback points. That's okay. You can story tell. And if you have images or videos as reference, that would even be better. But yeah, maybe you did lose 80 pounds, but you also gained 40 of it back, and you couldn't lose it for 2 years. Like, where's that part? Where are the stumbling blocks? And there's great lessons in that. It's not like you're just sharing that to just share it to be vulnerable. There needs to be purpose in that vulnerability. Notice what I did. This entire episode's an example. I am probably, if we were to use a percentage scale, I'm at 15 to 20% in my tank. Okay, right now. That's it. And I am showing up, doing the best that I can, but I'm also owning it and being honest with it, which gives you permission and reminds you that you get to show up at 15, 20%. You get to show up at 10% and it still be more than enough. And that me not showing up, I would have sat here all day going, I should just record. I should make myself record. I wouldn't even be able to relax, and it would feel disingenuous. You're in a business, money making, you're an accountant. I don't know. I'm just trying to, you're in some kind of a wealth money zone, maybe your manifestation coach area. Don't just post stuff of all the great manifestations and all the things. How about manifestations gone wrong? How about when you are in a spot where you have been stagnant and the gifts of being stagnant for a month? How about talking about that stuff? That's polarizing. That builds trust. That makes people go, wow. Showing the behind the scenes of a business. When I show the receipts, I don't just show you the receipts of, oh, Tiff had another $100,000 week. I also show when I'm in the net negative, where I'm spending way more than I'm making. And then I use that to make a point of why that is part of business. I mean, We forget that because there's so many fantasy marketers out there. There is literally no business that doesn't start in the red. Even if you have a rich family member giving you money, you're still technically in debt. The business is in debt. You might not be in debt. Like, to grow a business and to keep growing, you have to reinvest back in the business. And there's no successful business owner that sustained that success that would disagree with me. And you want to be intentional with what you're investing in and making sure that what you're investing them in is something that is going to get you a return on that investment, i.e., my mastermind, which is also a tax write-off, i.e., my ProjectME Posse business coaching membership, also a tax write-off because they are skills. It's saving you time. It's teaching you how to sell. It's teaching you how to monetize your gifts, passions, talents, and skills online. It's teaching you how to have your content work for you so you can make more and work less. It's teaching you how to refine your messaging and your offers so that more people want to buy them much faster than you just constantly pouring out and you're getting trickles of sales. What's the cost of not investing? What is that cost? Well, you should show that as well. I share stories all the time. The cost of my ass being cheap. Anytime I start playing cheap with my business, ooh, that cost is big. That was one of my biggest mistakes with my first business when I started, is I thought me being frugal and being stingy and like holding on to whatever I made, and I'll reinvest once I'm at a certain point. I lost so much money, it's not even funny, and time and probably hair and brain cells by doing that. And you would need to share those lessons so people can see them, that it's not just all pretty, pretty perfect. Because what happens is, and you'll attract clients, whatever industry you're in, that are expecting it to be this perfect, pretty, straight, yellow brick road path. And that's not reality. That's fantasy marketing. And that's when you end up with really pissed off people, and people who you end up with people also who aren't willing to put skin in the game. They want the easy way. They want the quick way. They want what's not realistic. They're in fantasy land. And I don't want people like that. I want people who want what they say they want. They're willing to put in the time and energy and effort and money towards it and be honest about the vulnerabilities of it and it feeling scary, but understand that this is not a road that's going to have no detours and no potholes, right? It's all worth it, right? And it is all worth it. But I mean, it is absolutely maddening sometimes too. Make this shift in your messaging immediately and consistently, and there is no way you won't be DMing me and going, "Oh my God, Tiff, you're brilliant. You're a genius. This changed everything. Plus, it changed my energy because I feel so genuine and I want to start doing content again. And I don't feel so resistant in what do I need to post? I don't feel stuck anymore. And that's why I was stuck, because I was thinking I needed to post in a way or show up in a way that was incongruent to my current status. Your current status is what is giving you the intimacy and trust currency, which in turn gets you all the sales, which will lead you to the consistent six-figure months and beyond. Not doing this, you'd have to spend a shit ton of money on high-level advertising with top-tier ads and top-tier funnels, which would be millions of dollars for you to be able to circumvent this. Or you can do what I'm telling you for absolutely free. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you. Remember, go to the mastermind page, check it out. If you feel like, oh, this is something I need to do, but I'm scared and this is a bold move, sit with it. You know, what's your other plan to get to where you want to go? And if you don't have a plan, you know what to do. If you're okay sitting where you're at for another year, another 6 months, and not making much progress, fucking around and figuring it out on your own, okay, then maybe it's not for you. but I've spelled it all out on the page. I've written every single word, every single detail. Go to projectmewithtiffany.com/mastermind. It's 50% sold out. This will not happen again for another year. And the pre-launch sale of $1,000 off is ending soon. You can also go to the Posse page at projectmewithtiffany.com/projectmeposse for the special summer sale. Get 2 months off. Get my content creation made easy course bundle and my Nail Your Niche masterclass for free when you sign up.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.